Hey guys, this is Daniel Kwak, one half of the Kwak Brothers. Welcome to part 3 on my personal journey on how I got started in real estate investing. So let's cue that intro and let's get to work. All right, guys, so in part 1 and part 2, we actually talked about how I personally got started in real estate investing with, why I wanted to get into it. And we talked about some things that you guys should have, like mentors and different tools and resources that you need to have before really executing on your first deal. So in this video, in part 3, I'm actually going to be giving you guys kind of just a rundown on what I did for my very first real estate investing transaction. Now, my very first real estate investing transaction was actually a portfolio of single family houses. Now, before I explain why I chose single family houses, I guess I should probably tell you how I even got to my first deal. So, me personally, I actually learned for a good 3 years on real estate investing. So all the things that I shared with you guys in part 1 and part 2, that took me about 3 years. And I don't want to say it took me 3 years because I don't want to say that, it took me that long to complete everything that I talked about in part 1 and part 2. I just wanted to make sure I really knew my stuff. And one of the things that I really did is, as I was kind of involved in multiple real estate investing communities, I noticed that there are a lot of things that these communities had in common. I knew that every single one of those communities, they all were searching for deals. Now, let me share with you guys why that's important. I am under the philosophy by Warren Buffett that says, when everybody's doing one thing, do the other, right? And I use this analogy of, if you walk in to a room full of people that are holding cigarettes, be the only guy that has a lighter, right? And in this case, I'm not a smoker. So, if you're at a nightclub and it's a nightclub full of women, be the only guy. There you go. Much more enjoyable, more pleasant metaphor, right? So in my multiple communities that I was involved in that talked about real estate investing, and when I say communities, I'm talking about networking events, meetups that meted every bi-weekly or every month. Every single one of these communities I was involved with, they were all looking at deals, but nobody was raising capital. Nobody was raising the money to be able to execute these deals. So I made the simple observation of, well, how could I create the most value for these multiple communities? And what did I do? I started getting really good at raising money. Not only did I learn how to analyze deals, how to basically do everything in real estate under the sun that a real estate investor should know in those first 3 years, staying up till 2, 3 a.m. in the morning, but I learned specifically how to raise capital because that was what was missing in my local communities of real estate investors I was meeting in. All of a sudden, I was a commodity. So what happened? Well, I started getting emails upon emails and emails from males and females that talked about deals. And I was getting 14, 15 emails a week about, hey, Daniel, what do you think about this deal? What do you think about that deal? All sending me emails with the intention that hopefully I would connect the investors that I have built, right? The database of investors that I built to individuals that wanted to get these deals done, right? I felt like that cool kid in high school, which is a feeling that I am very familiar with, rest assured. But irregardless, that made me extremely valuable. So that's how I transitioned into doing my first deals. And I partnered with an individual who had a lot of experience, and I provided the money. Now, my first deal, of course, was a single family house. Now, the relationships, and I bring all that up to tell you guys, the relationships that I built with these individuals that wanted to access my network of investors allowed me to learn more. It allowed me to create relationships where I could ask them, hey, could I shadow you? I want you to break down a deal that you did, 20 years ago, 10 years ago, and then a deal you did last year. It gave me access to people with experience, and it allowed me to cover up my weaknesses. because my weaknesses at that point is I never did a deal. So, because of those relationships, I had these people in my cornering me and helping me. So my very first deal was a portfolio of 4 single family houses. And again, because of my relationships, because I had something to offer them, I gave them value. In turn, they offered me value by helping me with my very first deal. Matter of fact, they helped me so much that my very first deal that my brother and I executed on was actually owner financing. So it was actually seller financing, which means I didn't have to go to the bank. I didn't have to provide, personal financial information or anything like that because, when you're 22 years old, when you're 23 years old, and you're doing deals and you've never done a deal yet and you don't have a whole lot of net worth or bankability, the bank's gonna look at you and the chances of them approving a commercial loan for me to buy an investment property probably aren't that high. And so the seller financing aspect was perfect because I got to not go to a bank and not have my credit be checked. Now, you're probably at this point asking, whoa, like how do you do a deal with not having your credit checked, not needing to go to a bank? Well, I'll tell you what, do me a favor, help me help you. If you want to get more information and you want me to make a video on that, feel free to comment down below. And at the end, I'm going to show you guys a free resource that I'm going to give to you to help you better understand that concept. So we actually got it seller financing, and we got it at a very favorable interest rate, but we only put 10% down. Yeah, 10% down. Whereas if you go to the bank today, chances are they're going to ask from 20%, 25%, maybe even 30% down, depending on your financial situation, depending on your investing level, and also your investing knowledge, level of expertise, whatever you want to call it. So we got 10% down, seller financing, and truth be told, it got me in a great position where it may have not been the perfect deal, but it was a good learning experience. Now, earlier I said I will explain to you guys why I chose single family houses as my first investment. Well, I chose that because one of the things that I heard from a lot of different people of expertise, people who have been investing for a very long time, they told me that, tenants in single family houses are easier to manage than apartment complexes. And I knew for my very first deal, it wasn't going to be about the money that I make, but what I could learn, the experience that I could gain by doing my first deal. Now, I know what you guys are thinking, like, dude, are you crazy? Like, real estate investing is all about the money. Well, let me tell you this. I agree, right? At the end of the day, when we're analyzing deals, we want to see cash flow, right? Everybody say this with me, cash flow, right? We want to see cash flow, but I'm telling you guys right now, if you guys focus more on what you're learning, investing in yourself, and providing value to not only your investors, but also the sellers, the people across the table from you, that cash flow is going to come. It's going to come as a byproduct, just like muscles, right? If you're going in the gym and all you're focused on is muscles, 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 right? You may have some good results, but chances are you won't be as successful because one of the things that my trainer tells me, he always tells me if you focus on your diet, if you focus more on the intensity of your workout, if you focus on the visualization of your goals and where do you want to be, the byproduct will be the muscles. It will be the toned look that you're trying to get. Real estate is no different. If you focus on creating value, you focus on learning, you focus on providing value for not just your sellers, but also your investors, and you're focused on having a good, solid deal where you can continuously learn. Well, guess what? Guess what the byproduct is? The byproduct is the cash flow. Again, guys, the cash flow, right? That's the cash flow game right there. If you focus on that, the cash flow will come. So of course, as we're doing this deal, we got an attorney, we got a seller financing contract, which by the way, guys, if you're into more free resources on how the seller financing worked for us, right? I'm going to encourage you guys to get a copy of a free book that I actually just wrote. Go to 0to75units.com. We actually explain exactly how I personally got started in the world of investing. It's 0to75units.com. It's a free resource. It's a very short book. You could literally finish this in your visit to the bathroom, going number 2. Not number 1, it's not that short, but going number 2. Just remember, you may have to have some Chipotle beforehand to buy yourself a little bit more time to read this book, but it's 0to5units.com. It's completely free. I wrote it for you guys. It actually talks exactly about my very first step in real estate investing. So hopefully this video helped. There will be a part 4 where I talk about my very first apartment complex investing. But again, guys, go to 0to75units.com for this very free resource that will help you with your very first step in real estate investing. See you guys in the next one. Hey guys, this is Daniel.
And this is Sam.
We are the Kwak Brothers. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you want to see more content value that we put out like this, what should they do, Sam?
Go and hit the subscribe button and also hit the bell icon so you guys get notification for our upcoming videos.
That's right.